4,000 years ago, in the cradle of ancient Mesopotamia, someone made a discovery that would fundamentally change how humanity ate. They realized that by submerging vegetables in simple salt water, they could stop the inevitable process of decay and rot. At the time, they had absolutely no idea why this worked, yet they had stumbled upon a miracle of food preservation. This technique of pickling and fermenting became a quiet, enduring legacy, passed down through generations without a single scientific explanation. It was a simple observation. Salt the vegetables, wait for a while, and somehow the food remained edible long after harvest. Fast forward to the 1700s, and this humble kitchen trick faced its most grueling test yet: the reality of long-distance ocean voyages. For sailors of the era, the open sea was a death trap, not just from storms, but from a mysterious wasting sickness. Known as scurvy, this disease caused gums to bleed, teeth to loosen, and old healed wounds to suddenly open up again. Ships were losing more men to this silent killer than to the combined dangers of naval battles and violent ocean storms. Captain James Cook, a man of unconventional logic, proposed a radical theory that most of his peers simply refused to believe. He insisted on loading his ships with barrels of sauerkraut, believing that this fermented cabbage could somehow keep his crew alive. The crew, however, was not convinced, and historical accounts suggest they absolutely despised the taste of the salty, fermented cabbage. Cook reportedly had to resort to trickery, forcing his officers to eat it so the regular sailors would eventually follow suit. But the results were undeniable. While other crews perished, Cook's men remained remarkably healthy throughout their long, grueling expeditions. Neither Cook nor his crew knew about vitamins or bacteria, yet they had unknowingly harnessed a powerful, invisible biological fortress. The secret lay in the fermentation process itself, which was an accidental science experiment unfolding inside every single wooden barrel. When bacteria break down cabbage in a brine solution, they produce lactic acid, creating a harsh environment for harmful microbes. This acidic, low-moisture environment acted as a protective shield, effectively preserving the vitamin C that the sailors desperately needed. It would be another 160 years before humanity discovered vitamins, but the chemistry was already working perfectly on those ships. This ancient, accidental discovery allowed humanity to cross oceans, proving that sometimes the best science is discovered by total accident. But there is a catch to this 4,000-year-old safety trick, a hidden weakness that many modern home cooks often overlook. While fermentation is a powerful fortress, it is not an invincible one, and there is a dangerous loophole in the chemistry. When we seal food away from oxygen, we are creating a specific environment that can either protect us or invite disaster. If a low-acid food is sealed without enough salt or acidity, it becomes the perfect breeding ground for something far worse. We are talking about Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria responsible for botulism, which thrives in airless, low-acid conditions. People often assume that a sealed jar is automatically safe, but that assumption is exactly where the danger begins to hide. The very same trick that saved Cook's sailors relies entirely on the presence of enough acid to keep the bad bacteria out. If you are fermenting or pickling at home, the acid, whether from vinegar or natural brine, is doing the actual life-saving work. A jar that looks perfectly sealed but lacks sufficient acidity is not a fortress. It is a trap waiting to be opened. This is the critical difference between a successful, healthy fermentation and a potentially dangerous mistake in home canning. The ancient jar and salt trick was never just a lucky superstition. It was always a demonstration of precise, correct chemistry. 4,000 years ago, they didn't have the vocabulary to explain it, but they had the method down to a science. Cook's sailors survived because of an acid they couldn't name, protecting a vital nutrient they didn't even know existed. It is the same mechanism, the same jar, and the same fundamental process running every time you pop a lid today. The only thing that has changed is our modern understanding of why it works and why it can occasionally go wrong. That bubbling jar on your kitchen counter is quietly continuing a 4,000-year-old experiment that once decided who survived at sea. It is a reminder that our culinary traditions are often built on deep, invisible layers of biological and chemical necessity. Every time you ferment vegetables, you are participating in a process that has been keeping humanity alive for millennia. Understanding the science behind the jar doesn't just make us better cooks, it helps us respect the power of the process. From the decks of 18th century ships to your modern kitchen, the chemistry remains as consistent as it is fascinating. We have moved from guessing why it works to understanding the microscopic world that makes our food preservation possible. It is a testament to human ingenuity that we could harness such complex biological systems long before we could see them. The next time you see a jar of pickles, remember the sailors who relied on that exact same chemistry to survive. It is more than just a way to store food. It is a link to our ancestors and the accidental discoveries they made. The balance of salt, acid, and time is a delicate one, requiring just enough knowledge to keep the process safe. As we continue to explore these ancient techniques, we find that the science is just as relevant today as it was then. Whether you are a seasoned fermenter or a curious beginner, the principles of safety and chemistry remain the same. Always ensure your brine is strong enough and your acidity is high enough to keep those harmful bacteria at bay. The history of fermentation is a history of survival, and it is one that continues to evolve in our own homes. By respecting the science, we turn a simple jar into a tool that is both historically significant and practically useful. It is truly remarkable how a simple observation in Mesopotamia could lead to such a profound impact on global exploration. We owe a lot to those early pioneers who noticed that salt could change the fate of their food and their lives. So, keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep that jar on your counter bubbling with the power of ancient chemistry. Just remember that every successful batch is a victory for science, even if it happens in the comfort of your kitchen. The legacy of cooked sauerkraut lives on in every jar, reminding us of the thin line between health and sickness. We have come a long way from not knowing what bacteria were to mastering the art of controlled fermentation. It is a story of human curiosity, persistence, and the accidental discoveries that have shaped our survival for centuries. As we look back on these 4,000 years, we see a clear path of progress from mystery to scientific understanding. The jar on your counter is a bridge between the past and the present, holding secrets that we are still uncovering. What other food mysteries are hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to finally crack them open and understand them? While the ancient trick of fermentation saved countless lives, it carries a hidden, modern-day danger that many home cooks often overlook. The chemistry that makes a jar a biological fortress is only effective if the environment is sufficiently acidic to inhibit harmful growth. If someone attempts to seal low-acid foods without the proper balance of salt or vinegar, they create a dangerous, airless, and stagnant environment. This specific condition creates a perfect breeding ground for Clostridium botulinum, the deadly bacteria responsible for the rare and severe disease called botulism. This reveals the critical loophole in the 4,000-year-old method. It is the acid, not just the seal, that provides the real safety. Today, when we preserve food, we are participating in the same ancient experiment that once sustained Captain Cook's brave, long-distance sailors at sea. However, we now possess the scientific understanding required to avoid its lethal pitfalls, which were once entirely invisible to our curious ancestors. By recognizing that our kitchen jars are governed by strict biological rules, we can continue to benefit from this profound ancient wisdom. We must remain vigilant, ensuring that our modern, home-canned goods remain a source of healthy nourishment rather than a hidden, lethal risk. The same mechanism that preserved vitamin C for sailors is the same one that prevents pathogens from thriving in your pantry today. Understanding this balance transforms a simple kitchen task into a precise application of chemistry that protects your health with every bite. Ultimately, your countertop jar is a testament to human ingenuity, bridging the gap between ancient survival tactics and modern food safety standards.